But for now, I think it's time that we can move on to our first speaker of the day. His name is Mike Pell, and he's a Microsoft Garage Director and Envisioneer. Mike Pell is recognized as a world-class designer and industry thought leader in the fields of next-gen visualization and smart information. He has a unique perspective on how to combine business, design, and technology to create breakthrough experiences, and he's currently leading the Microsoft Garage in New York City, and he's been kind enough to join us here today. It is actually 2:30 in the morning for him, so he definitely deserves a round of applause, and he's going to be joining us via Zoom. Do we still do the standing ovation? Totally, let's do it. He's on Zoom, he can't see it, but let's pretend he can. Let's all please stand up for Hack Your Future by Mike Pell.
Hey. Good morning, Futureport. I can see you and I can hear you.
Morning, Mike, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Tilly. Thank you so much for having me.
That's all right.
I just wanted to say it's an incredible honor for me to be here with all of you. This is the thing that I love doing the most, right? Talking to people about not only the future, but about how they're going to be part of it. So thanks for being here, Tilly.
That's totally okay. It's my privilege, and we're so grateful you could join us, even at 2:30 in the morning. That's dedication.
You know, the future never sleeps.
That's true. That's true. Well, we're going to let you get on with your speech and let us know what you have to say.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to take you through a lot. So, hey, everyone, my name is Mike Pell. I'm from the future. I have a lot to share with you this morning. I know you may be thinking, like, really, are you from the future? It's true. And I'm going to tell you exactly where we're all going to end up, and it's because of you. So with that, let's get right into this. I want to talk about hacking your future. But you might ask yourself, why do I use the word hack? Isn't hack a bad term? Actually, it used to be, right? It meant like breaking into things. But we use the word hack now to mean going fast, just trying to get something to work in any way you can. So I'm going to tell you a lot about how you are going to be able to hack your own future going forward. First of all, the future is not written. It really isn't. We can all make the future exactly the way that we want it to be, and that's going to be by using our imaginations. The most important thing, if you don't remember anything else I say today, is that nothing is impossible, right? We're only limited by our own imaginations. And even more important, it is never, ever, ever about the technology. People are always the key. I know that this conference is going to talk about a lot of incredibly exciting technologies. We're going to talk about AI and space and energy and amazing things that we're doing in the world of sustainability. But at the end of the day, it is not the technologies. It's always the ingenuity of people that matter. So why am I talking to you? Well, that's a long story. I got to tell you, I've had a lot of things to do in my career, most of it on the edge of technology, creating business, new design processes, always having fun. And in the middle of all of it has always been this idea that technology can aid people in doing what we do. Way back when, on the left, I actually invented what we call the stylized font menu. I invented what is now known as Acrobat and PDF, right? I've been very fortunate in my career to work on a lot of different things. I was there very early in 3D. I've worked in what now is called the metaverse, but I started in the first metaverse back in the mid-90s, believe it or not, where a bunch of crazy kids quit their jobs and thought that putting 3D in a web browser was a good idea. Well, the truth is it still is a good idea, but we were way too early. Way back then, I was thinking a lot about how do we work in this 3D environment? How can we do things we've never done before? And over time, I finally arrived at Microsoft. I started working in a part of Microsoft called the Garage, which is a worldwide innovation program, where I learned so much. In just a few years, I wrote 2 books about what's now called the metaverse, Envisioning Holograms, which is a design textbook that helps you think about how to design for this new world in the age of smart information. Again, a tale told from the future about how artificial intelligence and what we call now metaverse combine to help people communicate in new ways. Finishing a new book called Visualizing Business, where all of you will be able to see the things that are invisible. So what is hacking at its heart? Like, why am I telling you that you need to hack your future? Because at its essence, getting from A to B as fast as possible is at the heart of hacking. right? This is what we're all going to be doing. You probably already do this to a certain degree, but we have to be able to set aside process sometimes and just try to figure out how to go as fast as possible. When I talk about innovation at Microsoft, this is generally what I show people. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of people worldwide, incredibly excited because they are hacking their own futures. They are taking their own ideas and their own passion and they're making it real. We do this event, the Global Hackathon, in a giant way, but at its heart, it's about taking your ideas and your passion and doing something with them. I work in a very small team, but we're all around the world. So I've had to learn a lot about different cultures, about how different people care and have perspectives. We love to see people just roll up their sleeves and jump in and do stuff, right? We've learned a couple things along the way I want to share with you. First of all, I need you to understand this very, very deeply. Everywhere you go in life, please understand and remember, good ideas come from anywhere and anyone. Every single one of you has great ideas. You just need an opportunity to get them out there and to share. We know that from doing the world's biggest hackathon the last 9 years, diverse teams, meaning not diversity of race or gender, diversity of background and life experience always contributes to having better hack results. And finally, I don't think anybody likes to fail, but the truth is you don't learn a thing unless you do. So we like to see people just try things. I don't like the term fail fast because I don't think anybody wants to fail. But you have to try. You got to put yourself out there and be willing to make some mistakes and learn from them. We run this gigantic event every year that I've learned a lot from about how to move ideas forward quickly, which I think is at the heart of what we're doing today. People, we have the most amazing speakers for you to listen to are going to tell you about how they've taken their ideas with their teams and their passion and moved them forward in amazing ways. We do that, every year at Microsoft. What we learned is that there's for us, a very simple method. You ideate, you have some ideas, you go hack them into existence in some way, make them real enough to test. You validate your ideas, and then you go find a sponsor, somebody to help you move that idea forward. But what we learned, which is very important that I'll share with you, is you've got to look for sponsorship very early when you're trying to hack your future, when you're trying to move your idea forward. Go find people to help you early on. Don't wait until you're at the end and go, ta-da, look at this amazing thing I made. Because typically people are not as open as if you include them at the very beginning. Another important part about hacking, going from A to B as fast as possible, you may not think about this, but it's always better to start at the end. I found that if you can imagine, visualize, and sort of make real for yourself what you're after, it makes it so much easier because you're going to have a gigantic leap to make at somewhere in that process. Either the technology doesn't exist, you don't have the right people, you don't even know if it's possible. But trying to start from the end is going to help you to get there faster, visualizing, making it real in your own mind. A few things, now I'm going to tell you, we got to demystify a few of the things people have been talking about the future because they make them more confusing than they need to be. Number one, we're going to talk about the metaverse, Web3, and NFTs. Super quick. When anybody ever says metaverse, don't think about that. Think about the word 3D web. Just think about 3D, metaverse, 3D. That's what it means. That's at the heart of it. When they talk about Web3, right? Everybody uses the term Web3. Don't think about that. Think about decentralizing, meaning instead of there being a few companies that provide many or most of or all of the services you use, there will be many companies that do a lot of different things. So Web3 is all about decentralization. And finally, NFTs. Don't think about the word NFT. Think about community, the creator economy. That's what NFTs are all about. Okay, so let's go super quick through this thing about the metaverse because it's part of your future. It's going to be integrated into everything you do. Everybody knows what the metaverse is, right? It's like you put on a headset, you see a bunch of cool holograms, but it's super confusing, right? There's all these terms and people are talking about blockchain and AI and Web3 and crypto. They're confusing the issue. Again, right? When people think about the metaverse, it is not that. Okay, it's not Ready Player One. Sorry, got news for you. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be done in a very different way that's very natural. We're going to take what we've already learned about the web and about mobiles, and we're going to evolve it into the next version of the web. The metaverse is just an evolution of the web. It's made out of all the same stuff, all the same protocols and technologies. It is exactly what we do today, but it's in 3D. It's spatial. It's immersive. It brings new capabilities, But people confuse this, right? It is not this new thing that you have to go off to. The metaverse is an evolution of what we're already doing, right? You all know this, right? Augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality. That's essentially what the metaverse is all about. You're going to hear more about this today, but just super quick refresher. AR, you're looking through a phone or an iPad. Virtual reality, you're in a headset, you're completely immersed. Mixed reality, you put on a different kind of headset where you can still see the real world and holograms mixed in, right? Kind of looks like this when you're using a mixed reality headset, right? You're in the real world, you see the real world, but there are things mixed in. This is the kind of metaverse, this type of mixed reality environment that many of us will experience. So what is this all good for? It's good for exactly the same thing that the web is good for, right? Getting information, our news, our entertainment, spending money. It is the same stuff, right? Web, metaverse, don't be confused, right? The future is not this completely different thing. It is exactly what we do today, but in interesting and exciting new ways. So let's just talk about social collaboration. We're all kind of, in this thing for using Teams and Zoom. And, we've been doing this for 2 years now. What's going to happen differently in the metaverse a little bit is we're going to mix avatars in. We're going to mix in holograms so that you're not just using video, right? We're able to talk to people in different ways, and these avatars are going to be something that we get to make look exactly the way that we want them to, right? For the first time in human history, we can really show up in the ways that are authentic to ourselves. This is going to be incredibly exciting. This is part of the future for you. The environments that we collaborate in, right? Collaboration is so important to all of your futures. If I could tell you, one other thing that's incredibly important when you go off, whether you're in school or you're off, working in your career, people have to get great at collaborating. We've all had to learn how to do this the last few years, how to work in hybrid environments, but it's going to be integrated into our, our everyday work in our school, right? We're going to be in these virtual environments, not with headsets, just on our laptop, just on our mobiles. Right? It's not going to be this new thing that you have to go do. It's just going to be integrated in very everyday ways for us. And finally, the way that we shop, the way that we spend money is going to be affected. Like right now, you want to buy a jacket, great. You go to Amazon, you check it out, you press the button, it's done. Very efficient. What the metaverse does for you is it helps to bring things to life in a new and interesting way. That's a good advancement. Another thing we can do that's super interesting is we can just type in something like, maybe I'm going to type in the word fiery dress. And of course, I'm going to see a search result, of all the things I can buy. But the thing that's different, your future that's starting right now is that these dresses didn't exist a few seconds ago. They were auto-generated by artificial intelligence on the spot. They don't exist. They're completely digital. Doesn't mean that they're not incredibly beautiful and valuable, but that's something that's new. It's happening all around us right now. It's going to be an integral part of everything we do moving forward. We all know that gaming has been exactly what people are talking about when they talk about this metaverse, right? This new future. Well, we've already been there, right? Whether it's in Minecraft or Fortnite or Flight Simulator, like any of these things, they have all the properties that people are talking about: commerce, community, being able to form teams, being able to do things together, with your friends and colleagues. That's what true collaboration, that's what, commerce and community feel like. Let's talk about remote collaboration a little bit more. This is part of what we're going to be experiencing every day. For you, this is going to be so normal that you're not even going to think about it. Being able to work, just like in this image, with real people. You see on the far left, there's two gentlemen that are wearing headsets, but on the right, you see an avatar, and over a little bit more in the center, you see another avatar. These people are working with a full-scale car chassis that feels like it's in the room with them, but it's not. You can walk around, you can look at it from any angle. This is going to be so normal for you that, again, we're not even going to consider it different. It's just going to be how we work. And whether it's for engineering, learning physics, or collaborating in some creative pursuit, whether it's music, or doing something with, social studies, we have to be able to bring people and things together in this way. And we can. None of this is science fiction. We're doing all of this right now. Being able to mix, not only video generated holograms with real people, with more cartoonish holograms. It's this kind of environment where we can collaborate no matter where we are, using our phone, using a headset, just being in the room with nothing. This is the future for you. Let's talk for just a second about cryptocurrencies. The only thing that I think you need to pay attention to about cryptocurrencies is that it enables something called microtransactions. For decades and decades, we've been trying to get to this. We've been trying to get to the point where you can buy something that's less than €1 or less than $1. You can't right now very easily on the web. You just can't. But in the realm of cryptocurrencies, you can actually do this now. You can buy something for a few pennies, right? If you're in the US, I can read an article, I can subscribe to, like getting some feed for less than $1. That's incredible. And it's going to open up all new possibilities for content creators, for business, and for social activities. And finally, one of the most important aspects of the future is that our individuality is going to be on display all the time, right? We all show up looking and acting the way we want to look today in the real world. Online, we've been doing that in interesting new ways. But you've all noticed recently, right, that people are starting to show up to meetings in a different way. They're totally comfortable in their environments, whether you're working at home, in your apartment, in your building, at school, at work. People can now show up and be the people that they want to be your authentic self. And we're starting to respect this more and more, to the point where it's okay that you show up in your next meeting as your avatar. People will start to accept the fact that we just have to let people be themselves. There's a lot of business norms, there's centuries of business norms in place that have people thinking, that the future has to be the way that it always has been, but it's not going to be. All of you are going to bring this, into the world in your own way. That's what's important about respecting our individuality going forward. So let's go back to talking about how you hack your future. One of the most important things I've found is that you cannot be limited by other people's either expectations or experiences. You have to bring your own thoughts, your own passion, your own design to how you want to move forward in your career. There's some technologies that are going to enable you to do that. So let's get into that now. AI-based assistants. This is one of those things where people get a little nervous, but it's true. Artificial intelligence is helping humanity to do things in ways that we haven't before. It's taking a lot of the manual tasks and things that are very tedious and automating them. It's helping us do things that we're just not good at in some ways: monitoring, sorting through tons of data, being able to spot insights in very minute situations. Artificial intelligence will start to evolve to the point where it's an active assistance to all of us in many of the things that we do. It already happened. Look at what your phone does for you. I used to travel around the world a lot. I used to park in parking lots, take a photo of where I parked. My phone now reminds me where I parked, right? It's an active assistant for me. And the form that these assistants take will be different. Today, if you talk to Siri or Alexa or Cortana or any of our assistants that are baked in, they're either faceless or they're bots, but they don't look like this. These metahumans, this new technology, will embody artificial intelligence assistants. These may be your new teammates. These may be your new manager. These may be your new collaborators that let you do things you never imagined, but they're made out of artificial intelligence. Yes, they're infused with some of our thinking and some of our directional guidance, but they're going to be your assistant, and you're going to help to form where they go moving forward. Data visualization is a huge part of your future. I'll tell you why. For the longest time, people have had to imagine what numbers mean, what text means. You've had to form your own mental models. We use charts and graphs to try to depict how these things work, but that's really not the real way that we have to look at information. The real way that we're going to look at information is like this. Information will be alive. It's going to be ever-changing. It will show you what it needs to show you itself. No longer will we have to spend so many hours or days or months creating these custom animations. Through artificial intelligence, machine learning, and incredible new animation technologies, we'll be able to see data come to life in ways that we never have before. Again, this will be the most common way that all of us use information and data. It's no longer going to be just charts and graphs. We'll be able to see how these things work. It's very exciting. It's a field that I work in quite a bit, and I know that this is the way forward for all of us. That's why I love sharing this kind of thing with you. This, again, is not some science fiction vision. This is what we're doing right now to help all of you be able to hack your own future. And finally, we're all used to using, whether it's spreadsheets or word processors or, like our web editors to do things. But moving forward, it's going to look much more like this. Our data and information will be integrated into the environments that we work in. So next time you think about using Microsoft Office, think about that. I guarantee you that's where we're all going. We're going to be immersed in our data. We're actually going to be part of it. Just like you saw in that short clip, data will be all around us. It's not going to be trapped behind a screen. It's not going to be, part of a chart. You will actually be inside and living with your data every day. And it's how all of us will figure out how we can move forward. The information is going to show up in the environments that we work in, that we learn in. It's going to be something that's tangible, that we're going to feel like we can actually reach out and touch, we can manipulate. In this particular image, this is a sketch I did depicting how two people who are not together, working in a hybrid way, can actually collaborate with something so real that it feels like it's in the room with them. And again, this is not some science fiction thing. This is what we already do today and what all of you will be doing with us. Let's talk about the neuroverse. This is a term that I coined to talk about the layer that's underneath the metaverse. It's a layer of data that comes from sensors, from your watch, from your ring, from the camera and the microphone on your laptop or your phone. The neuroverse is full of all this information about emotion. We do this now through these goofy looking headsets, right? These are sort of capturing all of the, the brain activity, electrical impulses, what's happening in the synapses. But what we're doing with that is we're figuring out how to map it into a way that we can actually visualize this. We can see what's happening within the brain. It's starting to look a little more familiar. Like you've seen pictures that, sort of look like this, where we're trying to capture different regions of the brain, the emotion, what's happening when you're thinking, when you're acting, when you're talking, when you're feeling. The neuroverse is something that's going to help all of us design better experiential things, like being able in a meeting, or in a creative environment like a concert, being able to see and feel people's emotion in a very interesting new way. The neuroverse is, yet to be defined. All of you will be part of this grand experiment that helps us to become more human by being able to feel more deeply. This is what's happening now in terms of brain science. We're trying very hard to get to that point where emotion and feelings are just as important as any other part of data in the things that we do. So my closing thoughts for you about hacking your future is think about all those pieces of technology I just showed you, right? They're amazing things. And then remember that the future is bright. We have an incredible, amazing, just indescribable future ahead of us. And it's all up to you. It's up to your imagination and to the things that you want to do. So again, technology is never the point. It's always about the people. It's about you. It's about your feelings, your emotion, your connection, and the way that you want to move forward. I'm really easy to find online. Mike Pell, remember, I'm from the future, so I should be that easy to find. I would love to talk to you about all of this. And if we have a minute, happy to talk to Tilly or anybody else about hacking your own future. But we're going to have an amazing day today. We're going to have so much fun. I can't wait to be able to see all the other presenters today and to learn things about all of our shared future. Wow.
Thank you so much.